Good evening, and welcome to Back to the Shack. I am your host, Big Bad Blurgalookie, coming to you live from my shack, which is a little room, a detached room from the garage. Pretty cool. Loaded with two corners of my crap. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, so I entitled this episode Let's Talk because, of course, January is Mental Health Awareness. And if you don't know me, I do suffer from mental illness, like mental health issues. I do suffer from depression, bipolar disorder. Anything that is attributed with epilepsy, if you look up epilepsy and you see everything that goes with epilepsy, I have. It's great. It's like a party. And I'm the only one invited. Except for the one voice that's inside my head. That's my conscience, which it started coming back to me. I thought I sold that for a case of beer. There must have been a time restriction on that, though. So it's Let's Talk, and I'm going to talk about how I deal with having depression and how long I've had upsetting thoughts or, just feelings of inadequacy around peers or anything like that. Because social anxiety isn't really talked a lot about, because people like to give off the impression that, they're all happy-go-lucky and always, in your face wanting to meet new people and all that shit. And it's funny because half the time those people are either intoxicated or on some sort of drug. Yet, when it comes to sobriety and me choosing to be sober and not drink as much as I used to, and I mentioned in Volume 1, I drank. When I drank to have fun. I drank to entertain. But entertaining and causing bodily harm to oneself is kind of, with me going through my drinking phase, was how I dealt with my depression. And that's not the way to go about doing it. Mostly because it causes severe psychological damage to yourself and it shortens your life. Because alcohol is worse than marijuana. But when you grow up in a family like mine, which is basically fucking Ukrainians. Ukrainians are crazy, man. Ukrainians are crazy. And I'm the craziest. Yeah. Okay, so when I drank to deal with, how to make myself feel better. Because with me and drinking, it was always, it got to the point where I was never actually happy. I was only happy because I was drunk. And I had to distance myself from that. It took some time. And now I only drink when I had, an extremely stressful day. Say I got threatened with a gun or something. That would drive me to drink. A lot. Never been held up at gunpoint. Held up at knife point. Yeah. But the thing with epilepsy, because I like bringing that up, is, of course, all the side effects that come with it, because it's all neurological with epileptics. There's kind of like a short circuit, a little misfire every once in a while. I do have a little bit of a tick, but, it goes away, but it's not a speech tick, it's more an eye tick. Alright, so I feel bad because my show's supposed to be comedy based and I'm talking about something serious. And I'm trying to make light of having mental health issues, and it's really, really hard because when I lost somebody close to me two people close to me. One's never been solved. So his disappearance is a complete mystery. And of course I'm talking about Devin Muldoon. So if any information, contact Crime Stoppers and let them know what you know. And I've also lost a cousin due to suicide. And my family doesn't talk about them. My family doesn't mention them. They don't like talking about anything upsetting. So when I bring up my cousin Chris, they're like, who? I'm like, you don't even remember your own fucking grandson? Like, he fucking lived with you. Yeah. But no, my grandmother and my late grandfather remember my cousin. I just like to think that people tend to forget things that are upsetting because they don't want to think about it because they have control. My mind doesn't really necessarily have control. It just goes. It's like a bullet train. It's all over the map. I try to focus on one thought and I go off on a tangent. Obviously with this show, it's kind of a, you can tell. You can definitely tell. Alright. I'm not going to play any clips this episode because I feel just like talking and letting everybody know that mental health needs, like, the stigma does need to end because a lot of people in my life have told me, can't you just get over it? I'm like, no. Like, you get my mother passing away at a young age. Like, you can't simply just get over it. It does take time, but sometimes time doesn't heal all the wounds. It heals some of them, but the good memories are always stuck with you, and that's all you really have at the end of it. So how I deal with that is I began to try to follow in my mother's footsteps, and I tried to find out a little bit more about her, and apparently she had a very dry, sarcastic, and, like, weird sense of humor, kind of like me, so I'm going with that. My mom was the type of person that would actually dress up like a clown. I'd like to think she did it on a daily basis just to entertain her boys. But yeah, my mom was awesome, and I do miss her a lot. And it's hard to get over something like that. Because especially if your final memory of your mom is her lying very, very sick on her couch, and looking so frail. Like, that's the lasting memory I have. Like, pictures do her justice, and I do remember her that way, but the last memory I have, personally, is that. It's hard to get over. I've tried. I was an alcoholic, of course I fucking tried. I drank to forget, and I drank to be happy. It kind of went hand in hand. But how I ended up dealing with it. Not really dealing with it, because like I said, you can't really get over something like that. How I deal with it is I do go out and I visit my mother and my cousin, because I feel like that's my connection with them, is that I know where they are, and I'll always be there. So, I love my family greatly, because my cousin was an amazing person. He was a great person. And the reason I'm talking about Chris a lot is because he ended his life way too soon. Obviously with suicide, that's all you can really say. It's just, he had such a great impact on my life. I like to think that he helped raise me and bring me to who I am. My family will hate me for saying this, but hey, I'm being candid. My cousin Chris was the first person that introduced me to marijuana. Yeah. I was 13, I was in high school. I was 13 and 14, and I dabbed in it, and I didn't really enjoy it all that much, but my cousin actually sat me down and told me the benefits and all that crap, and I'm like, so this is better than taking prescription pills. I still took the prescription pills, and I still smoked weed, but I didn't smoke it all the time. I do now, but that's just to control my constant headaches and migraines. Because it sucks. It does suck. Because I have to wake up and walk to work in the most uncomfortable and chronic joint pain and it hurt. Like, having a body that's pretty much riddled in arthritis because of having too many seizures, it fucking hurts. It hurts from my toes to my neck. It's that bad. But I have to work because the government won't let me claim disability. Because I can function. I'm sorry, I don't like being lazy. I like being active. I like going out, and I like going out to work, and I like working. Because, one, it passes the fucking time for me. It beats me sitting at home looking at a wall. And looking at walls is fun. When you're on acid. Or shrooms. Yeah, so. Alright, so. Well, let's talk. That's how I deal with the depression side. The bipolar side I can't really control. I have a fucking. How did Devin used to say this? I go to 0 to 60 in, like, not even a minute. I'm like, what? You guys just pissed me off. No, man, you start yelling at us. You just fucking get batshit insane crazy. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, what's wrong with that? He's like, well, you just fucking tear strips off people. I'm like, well, they need to hear the truth. And it's funny because, of course, I was drinking at that point. Not as heavy as I did after I lost my finger. I just dove into drinking at that point. But I was just, drinking a little bit and, doing my thing. But I hated hearing the truth because people, Devin especially, told me numerous times that I had a problem with drinking. I didn't believe him. Especially leading up to his disappearance, he told me I had a problem with drinking, and I'm like, no, I don't. I got it under control. I didn't have it under control at all. I really didn't. It was actually the complete opposite of control. It was just frickin' insane. I don't recall a lot of the stuff I did because I was so drunk. All I know is that it led to me pushing everybody out of my life. Family, friends, and even in relationships, I pushed people away. Oh, well, a person away. And I can't forgive myself for doing it. That's what I've been trying to do for years, is try to forgive myself on how I treated people, and there's still some past regrets that I need to forgive myself for. And I'm working at it, day by day. And all I do is I just smile. I just smile because this is where I get light and, try to help people instead of people listening to my story, which will continue. Oh, my instructor at Hers would fucking shoot me if she heard this show. Oh, Bev. Alright, so I'm gonna get light here, and I'm just gonna let you know how to handle depression. This is my way, this is my form. You don't necessarily have to follow it, but this is how I handle it. I smile, and I think to myself over and over again, life can't get any worse. You can only control your future. And that's something I've been, working at. And there's some things that need to be done to settle your past. And I just don't want to be forgiven. I just want to stop, not necessarily caring, but just stop caring as much. Because my grandmother, who is awesome, which I desperately need to call because I haven't talked to her since my nieces